Time Warner Cable is pleased to be an underwriting sponsor for Carolina Week.
While Marvin Austin danced his way to the NFL, the chancellor hopes to clean up the mess with the NCAA.
Plus, would you ever get a tattoo? 40% of college-age students already have.
In sports, the men's basketball team is #1, and they're ready to prove it.
All that and how one local band uses spoons to make music.
Carolina Week starts right now.
From the James F. Goodman Studio in the School of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, connecting campus and community, this is Carolina Week.
We could find out as early as Friday what's going to happen with the football program. Good evening. I'm Kathleen Whitty.
And I'm Preston Jones. That's when the chancellor, the current athletics director, and others from the university will be traveling to Indianapolis to face a NCAA hearing. Andy Reeves joins us now from the Reese-Phelps newsroom with more. Andy, what can we expect from the NCAA?
Well, Preston, finally, UNC will begin to get some closure on these NCAA investigations. At the hearing on Friday, the NCAA Committee on Infractions will hear any and all final arguments as they prepare to make a decision on what the punishment should be for this UNC football program. UNC is contesting one of the 9 charges outlined in the letter of allegations. They claim failure to adequately monitor social media activity is an unprecedented charge. UNC reps also hope that self-imposed sanctions, including vacating all the wins from the 2008 and 2009 seasons, will prove punishment enough.
Now, Andy, tell me, who is going to be there representing UNC?
Well, Preston, Holden Thorpe, outgoing athletics director Dick Bedore, and former associate head coach John Blake will all be in attendance. However, interim coach Everett Withers, new athletics director Bubba Cunningham, and former head coach Butch Davis will all not be at the meeting.
Now, it seems like this investigation has been going on far too long. Can we really expect this to be over on Friday?
We still won't know anything definitive after Friday's meeting, but we can expect a decision sometime in the next couple of weeks. If you want to follow the result of this NCAA investigation more closely, our colleagues here at Reese News have you covered. Tomorrow they'll unveil a graphic timeline that goes from the beginning of the investigation in July 2010 to its resolution at the hearing on Friday. And on Friday, check out a graphic of UNC's self-imposed sanctions as well as a timeline of past Division I violations and punishments. And also, they'll definitely be keeping us posted on what goes on Friday at the hearing.
All right, that's Andy Reeves starting us off live, and Reese-Phelps, thank you.
Coming back from fall break, you may have noticed some changes around UNC. If you visited the basement of the undergraduate library in the last couple of days, you've probably admired its facelift. The UL Computer Lab received a $75,000 remodel. Along with better computers, the space now includes video display screens from the old Union Computer Lab, more group space for laptop use in group projects, and more electrical outlets for students to charge their computers. Some things were taken away, including 40 computers and the part-time ITS employees that offered support. ITS officials say support for the old computers was too costly, and the money saved will fund the renovations. No additional funding from the university is necessary.
Another makeover during the break, and it's something you keep in your wallet. UNC Student One cards received a new look, its first update since 2002. Students and marketing consultants helped change the design from this old look to this brand new fresh look you see right there. The iconic old well on the front of the One card is gone and replaced by a simple blue and white design with the UNC watermark. And on the Visa One cards, a Wells Fargo marker sits where it used to read Wachovia.
Today marks the 12th day that protesters have occupied the Peace and Justice Plaza on Franklin Street, and they say they have no intention of moving. But what about Halloween? Will the protesters have to move? Occupy Chapel Hill members are saying tonight they will continue the protest during Monday's Halloween celebration. Their plan outlines the precautions they intend to take, such as breaking down the tents pitched in their plaza, moving their assembly time to noon, and removing any signs posted around the open area. Now, one of the Occupy Chapel Hill members, David Malikin, was part of the original Occupy Wall Street. He was one of more than 700 arrested during the march on the Brooklyn Bridge and was also part of the Occupy D.C. protest. But now he is occupying Chapel Hill, and he says the dedication here is just as relentless as that of the other Occupy protests.
I think that they're going to find that we're willing to be here as long as it takes, and that if they want us out, if they're not willing to make the change, it's going to have to come to physical actions against us.
Tonight, Facebook is doing more than just connecting you with your friends. It's uniting thousands of Occupy Wall Street protesters all across the nation and could be responsible for the movement's widespread growth. The first protest began in early August in New York City. Now, 2.5 months later, more than 170,000 people have posted or commented on Facebook pages about the protest. A study from UNC's College of Arts and Sciences shows that people are interacting about the issue through Facebook in every single state. Users have liked pages relating to the original New York City movement 390,000 times. Now, almost twice as many have liked their local protest pages. Posts related to the Occupy Wall Street movement topped 1 million on October 7th. Protesters are most likely to post in college towns like here in Chapel Hill and near state capitals. The study also shows the number of Facebook occupiers is running a very close race with the number of online Tea Party activists. But what are all these people posting about on Facebook? The pages primarily serve as resources for recruitment, information, sharing, and updates of what's going on in each city. Now, almost 900 people here have liked the Occupy Chapel Hill Carborough Facebook page, and more than 200 people have posted about it.
President Obama announced new guidelines today that should make it easier for you to repay your student loan. The plan would consolidate different types of loans into one with a lower interest rate. Recent grads could be saving hundreds of dollars each month as early as next year. Eligible grads will be contacted by their lenders in January. Now, local elections are coming up in Chapel Hill, and one of the candidates may be a little familiar to UNC students. He's 22 years old and just graduated from Carolina. But Lee Storo thinks his youth is an asset to his campaign for town council. Beth Lawrence reports.
Lee Storo graduated from UNC just last May. He got a job here as the managing director at the North Carolina Alliance for Health, which creates policies to fight lung cancer and obesity in North Carolina. But now he wants a new job on the Chapel Hill Town Council.
I can't tell you how many times folks have said, I've never heard from a local politician or elected official in Chapel Hill.
Storo says he's trying to change that by canvassing Chapel Hill neighborhoods, meeting UNC students in the pit,
Can I give you a sticker? Yes.
and reaching out through mailers. Storo is from Asheville and majored in political science at UNC. He was president of the Young Democrats. He says his youth shouldn't hinder his chances, but should help.
I really think there's a need for a young, progressive voice who's going to do the work to get out and talk to residents in their community, to engage them in the policy process and try to build consensus in our town.
4 seats are open this fall. 9 candidates, including Storo, are in the race. There are 3 incumbents, Jim Ward, Donna Bell, and Matt Chakowski, and 6 challengers, Jason Baker, Augustus Cho, Lainey Dale, John DeHart, Carl Schuler, and Storo. Storo thinks his chances are better because of the time he spent out in communities such as the Rogers Road community.
We talk a lot about specific issues facing those communities, but until you really walk the ground there, I think it's hard to understand what's going on and the needs that residents have.
Storo says he'll continue walking and talking with residents even after Election Day. In Chapel Hill, I'm Beth Lawrence, Carolina Week.
Now, Storo's raised more than $11,000, and that's more than the 3 incumbents combined. Election Day is November 8th.
Now, as we told you last week, some Chapel Hill residents are upset about towing in Chapel Hill, accusing towing companies of predatory practices. Now, we hope to have a story for you tonight, but unfortunately, we won't have it until next Wednesday. Well, it may look pretty painful, but tattooing is one of the fastest growing industries in America.
That story coming up next.
G-Morning, sunshine. Wakey, wakey. Text me. Are your parents home later? We can hang. LUV, love you. JK. Holla back. Holla back. Holla back. Are you with your friends? That's lame. We're in a huge fight right now. XO. Would you dream of something I did? Are you on your way to the mall? I'm lonely. Nude pics. Send me some. Text me.
I'm Patrick Wright, director of Carolina Week, and I am definitely a Tar Heel.
I'm Preston Jones, anchor for Carolina Week, and I'm proud to be a Tar Heel.
My name is Kathleen Whitty. I'm a reporter and anchor for Carolina Week, but most importantly, I am a Tar Heel.
I'm Carolina Week sports anchor Andy Reeves, and I'm a Tar Heel. I'm Lindsay Hawkins, senior producer for Carolina Week, and I love being a Tar Heel.
There are more than 18,000 undergraduate students here at Carolina, but obviously not all of them major in the same subject.
Reporter Natalia Perez-Segnini tells us which majors are the most popular and which majors, well, just aren't.
Junior from Boston. He's majoring in biology, and he's one out of the almost 2,000 undergraduate students doing the same thing.
I've always been more science-minded. I've always enjoyed, sciences in general, whether it was like the basic stuff you learn in elementary school up through middle school.
Evan chose to major in biology because it caters to the pre-med track.
If you're going to get a bachelor's in science and biology, it comes with a minor in chemistry, which actually parallels with all of the pre-med requirements, and that's why you get so many. That's another reason why I think you get so many biology majors here.
So why is pre-med so popular?
There is certainly a perception that the only way that a student is going to find employment upon graduation is if they are in the sciences. And so biology is a very appealing first choice.
The three most popular undergraduate majors are biology with 1,973 students, business and administration barely behind with 1,972 students, and psychology with 1,819 students.
Biology is the most popular major on campus. But what's the least popular? Astronomy.
And who would want to major in that? Meet Sierra Gray, a sophomore from Salisbury.
Ever since the first time I learned about astronomy as a kid, I just always thought it was just the coolest thing in the world.
Because astronomy has so few students, the major is only offered when paired with a bachelor in physics. Sierra is one of 2 students in the major.
Maybe it's just because I love it so much, and I'm like, why is it only 2 people? Like, this is such a great thing to learn.
Behind physics and astronomy is the Germanic and Slavic language and literature major with 5 students, and contemporary European studies major comes in 3rd with 8 students. Whether you're one of 2 like Sierra or one of 2,000 like Evan, they're glad to be at Carolina. In Chapel Hill, I'm Natalia Perez-Segnini, Carolina Week.
Journalism and mass communication ranks as the 4th most popular major with 1,049 students as pre-majors and majors.
Well, we definitely have an exciting weekend ahead of us. This Saturday is homecoming, and on Friday, students get the chance to vote for UNC Homecoming King and Queen. For the guys, candidates include our very own Carolina Week volunteer, Clint Hanna, as well as Chris Lyle and Eric Campbell. Those are the 3 who made it to the first round. Now for the ladies, you can vote for Tabitha Linville, Camille Jones, or Holly Roberts. They were the only 3 women to enter the race. You can find the link to vote on our website, carolinaweek.org.
And with basketball season kicking off on Friday, we're taking a look at how students get tickets. Register 1 game at a time on TarHeelBlue.com Ticket Center 10 days before the event. 5 to 7 days before the game, you will receive an email with 2 tickets if you didn't win the lottery. If you don't get tickets, you can go to the Turn It Back line the day before the game or wait in standby the day of the game. Check out carolinaweek.org for the registration steps. A study out tonight from the School of Public Health here at the university suggests annual flu shots are not as effective for people who are obese or overweight. Our own Alana Austin is live in the studio with more. Alana?
Flu shots are usually seen as pretty effective, but back during the H1N1 outbreak in 2009, health professionals started noticing an interesting trend. People that were heavier were experiencing more flu-like symptoms after getting their shots. Researchers followed up on this, and they found that flu antibodies developed in people of all body types, but they didn't stick around very long in overweight people. The study seems to confirm that people who are overweight and obese might also have impaired immune systems and are just more likely to have trouble fighting off these potentially dangerous illnesses.
So, Alana, I've been hearing people say that the vaccines aren't even that effective in the first place. How true is that?
Well, researchers at the University of Minnesota just came out with a study about that, and they're saying that the seasonal flu vaccine only works about 60% of the time for adults aged 18 to 65. Regardless of weight. Experts still say the vaccine is the best way to fight the flu.
That's Alana Austin live in the studio. Remember when you could be the coolest kid on the playground in 15 seconds and all you needed was one of those packs of the fruit stripe gum and a damp washcloth? Yeah. Well, reporter Caitlin Yannick talks to one UNC student who used to decorate her body with those trendy temporary tattoos.
The only difference, she has plans for them to be permanent.
UNC junior Azmina Salahani plans to get her first tattoo on her 21st birthday next week. She's carefully designed it, a Scorpio with the letter S. But she's afraid she'll disappoint her family, because in her mother's and grandmother's day and age,
women just did not do things like that.
She pictures her mother's response.
It would probably include me being slapped in the face.
But there's hope for Salahani. Chapel Hill resident Hannah Elwar says times are changing.
A while ago, you used to see a girl with a lot of tattoos, and the first thing people think is, oh, well, she's got to be trashy. But there's a lot of high-class women adorning their bodies with it now.
In fact, the number of women with tattoos quadrupled from 1960 to 1980. And tattoo artist James Padilla is happy to see this art form becoming less taboo. But he says some women are forgetting to do one very important thing.
Think before you ink. Basketball players and movie stars don't have to stand in a human resources department with a pot leaf on their hand or a name on their neck. Kind of gotten out of hand, you know? People used to get tattooed because it meant something.
Salahani's tattoo does mean something. It's a tribute to her uncle who passed away and a symbol of herself and her loved ones. Are you thinking about getting a tattoo? I tried my hand at the wearable art.
Let's see how I do. So you probably don't want a tattoo from me, but there are a lot of professionals in the area who can help you make that permanent mark. In Chapel Hill, I'm Caitlin Yannick, Carolina Week.
In 1936, 6% of Americans had at least one tattoo.
According to national statistics, 40% of college-age students have a tattoo today.
And up next, homecoming is this weekend.
We'll tell you if the weather will help your celebration.
I got no pulse, we're losing him.
Charging.
All right, welcome back to Carolina Week, everyone. I'm Drew Day. Thank you so much for staying with us. Let's go ahead and take a look at your weather headlines for this evening. We expect a big cool down to come this weekend as a cold front will be pushing through the area on Friday. And along with that cold front, we expect some weekend rain to move in. And we also have Hurricane Rina to talk about. Let's talk about it right now. This is Rina. It is a Category 1 storm right now with winds at 85 miles per hour. This is the center of circulation right now. Earlier yesterday, it had a more well-defined eye, and so this could be a slight indication that the storm may be weakening just a little bit. But despite that, along the Yucatan Peninsula, hurricane warnings have already been issued this evening, and so they are definitely preparing for Rina to strike. Here is the forecast track. You can see that it will make landfall perhaps along the Yucatan Peninsula, if not just brush the coast. And then once it moves from there, it will then push more to the east and will then make landfall along Cuba. Now you can see that the Florida Keys and the southern tip of Florida is still in the forecast cone here. And so Floridians are still worried about this system right now, but it will not affect us as it will continue to push to the east. As we take a look now at the satellite picture across the area today, you can see that there was a slight bit of cloud cover right here that moved through the northern part of the state. And here in Chapel Hill, we saw some cloud cover. But you can see just up to the north in Virginia and West Virginia as well. As we take a broader view now, you can see that this is where the cold front is right here. The clouds are an indication that the cold front is just on our doorstep, but it's going to stall just a little bit. As we take a look at the surface map, there's the cold front as it stands right now. For tomorrow, that cold front will continue to push to the east, and same thing for Friday as well, and the rain will start on Friday evening. Taking a look at some rainfall amounts, you can see that perhaps the biggest rainfall amounts will come in the northern part of the state and lighter amounts to the south. So overnight tonight, expect to see temperatures right around 54 degrees, a crisp evening out there under partly cloudy skies. And then for tomorrow, expect to see warm temperatures across the area with partly cloudy skies. 76 will be our high tomorrow afternoon. And breaking tomorrow down just a little bit further so that you know what to expect throughout the day. By 8 a.m., 54 degrees, 71 by noon. And then by 8 p.m., if you have any outdoor plans, 67 degrees. Clouds will be building throughout the day, but no rain tomorrow. That will come on Friday. And as we take a look at the 5-day forecast now, you can see after tomorrow, that's the last of the warm days with 77 degrees. But big cool down. Friday will be in the 50s.
So the day that I have dreaded is here. It's finally time to pull all the sweaters out of storage.
Yes, you're going to have to bring out the sweaters and the jackets.
Well, despite that bad news, we appreciate you being here. Thank you so much, Drew.
All right, you're welcome.
And since that forecast is looking pretty sunny, you might consider gardening for a good cause. The UNC Campus Community Garden is located on Wilson Street, and they need your help. Since March, all of the vegetables that grow here are distributed to UNC housekeepers. Volunteers take care of the garden, including UNC students, faculty and staff, community members, and even children. Anyone can participate. You don't even have to be an expert at gardening.
And coming up after the break, we'll preview what's certain to be a dominant season for the Carolina basketball team.
I'm starving. What's for breakfast?
Guten Tag!
Johannes, Franz!
I bring you arts-enriched Raisinblams, fortified with increased test scores and creative problem-solving skills.
It's good!
And good for you. Bobby? Susie? Don't worry, that's just the power of the arts!
Feed your kids the arts. For 10 simple ways to learn how, visit AmericansForTheArts.org.
That's it.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. When you adopt a child from foster care, just being there makes all the difference.
Mom, can I have $1? Yeah, it's right. I think my purse is upstairs on the bed. It's not here. Check the dining room. No. What about your sister's room? It's not there either. The upstairs closet? The downstairs closet?
There are no more closets.
Moms everywhere are finding ways to keep kids active and healthy. Get ideas, get involved, get going at letsmove.gov.
Welcome back to Carolina Week in Sports. I'm Ciara Watkins. More bad news this weekend coming from the football loss to Clemson. Senior safety Matt Merletti's college career is over after spraining his ACL and MCL. You see him fall right there, and he knows exactly what happened. Merletti will undergo surgery in the next week. Now, this is exactly the news that the already depleted secondary that gave up 59 points last weekend does not need to hear. And you have to feel bad for someone like Merletti, who works just so hard all of the time. Now, without Merletti, UNC's pass defense, which ranks 101st in the nation, faces the 24th-ranked Wake passing game. Carolina will have to find a way to get pressure on the quarterback, as they failed to do right there on Miami's Ja'Cory Harris 2 weekends ago. And also, they hope to have Giovanni Bernard in good health, who you see here on the touchdown run. But last weekend, he only rushed for 44 yards. Kickoff this weekend is Saturday at 3:30. And if you head to the game on Saturday, look out for senior linebacker Zach Brown. He's a semifinalist for the 2011 Butkus Award that honors the nation's top linebacker. Brown leads the team with 53 tackles and has 4.5 sacks. Switching sports, the basketball team, the Tar Heels have their first exhibition this Friday. The pressure is on the #1 ranked team, and as reporter Andy Reeves tells us, the Heels are focused on just one goal.
5 returning starters. A top 5 recruiting class. 4 players on the Wooden Award watch list. And a preseason #1 ranking. Expectations are ridiculously high, and justifiably so.
They're built as the perfect team.
They have the point guard who can distribute. They have the on-the-ball defender. You have Henson, you have Zeller in the middle, and then you got the best player in the nation.
That's Harrison Barnes. And with his kind of talent and new 5-star recruits James McAdoo and P.J. Hairston, even Coach Williams admits anything less than a championship is a failure. And with a loaded roster with at least 6 future NBA players, finding enough playing time could be the biggest issue.
That's the greatest problem for every coach when you have a really talented team. There's only one ball. So who's going to get it? Who's going to get his touches? And that's where I think that leadership within the team is going to be really important.
And just who is this team's leader? Barnes and Marshall are only sophomores. Zeller has always been the strong, silent type. And Henson has been more of a jokester than a front man.
They don't have that one dominant personality as far as you look at him and this is the guy who calls everybody together and says, here we go.
But despite these potential pitfalls, the Tar Heels should be considered overwhelming favorites. Not only because of their talent, but because that talent came back with one goal in mind.
The things that our team are focusing on is winning the ACC. We want to be the number 1 team in the country. We want to be dominant as a team.
I don't think that this is going to be a team at the end of the night. They'll pick up the stat sheet and look and say, oh, I got this, and why did you get that? This is a team that's only going to look at the final score.
And a national championship banner in the rafters. In Chapel Hill, I'm Andy Reeves, Carolina Week.
And Preston, there's a lot of high hopes on this team, so we'll have to see how they handle the pressure.
And Sierra, I follow some of them on Twitter, and it looks like they think they're going to win it all, too.
I think so, too.
All right, Sierra, thank you for that.
Preston.
Well, this music group started right outside of a South Campus dorm.
Coming up, we'll tell you even what's more unique about this band.
If you have a story idea, call Carolina Week at 919-843-8292 or email us at carolinaweek@unc.edu. If you have questions about this program, write Carolina Week at Campus Box 3365, UNC-CH, Chapel Hill, North Carolina 27599. Be sure to check out Carolina Week and Carolina Connection online at carolinaweek.org.
Did you buy the flashlight and the batteries?
Yes.
Did you make sure we're not missing anything in the first aid kit?
Yep.
Did you go through the plan with the kids again?
Yes.
The more you prepare today, the more you'll be able to reduce the devastating effects of a tornado, an earthquake, a power outage, or any other disaster.
Who knew playing music outside of a South Campus dorm could get you a singing group?
That's the case for one student band here on campus. Amy Whitaker has that story.
The 6 members of the band The Found Outsides share a passion for one thing: folkgrass music. Lead singer and UNC senior Abby Herman says she's always loved music.
I remember the day I walked downstairs and I was like, Dad, I really would like to play the guitar to this song. Can you teach me?
After Herman performed several solo acts her sophomore year, she asked other UNC students to play with her at a benefit concert. The group was practicing outside of Morrison Dorm one night when someone asked them to play at a talent show inside.
The guy was like, do y'all have a band name or something? And we're like, we're not really a band. And so he introduced us as the Found Outsides.
What's different about them? Their instruments. They use the harmonica, violin, kazoo, and even spoons. But songwriter Herman says it's not all about sounding good.
I want the things that I write in particular to be things that penetrate people's hearts.
Senior Bennett Dixon says the band members are some of his closest friends, and there's something else that unites and motivates them.
We really seek to praise God through the music, even though a lot of the songs can be secular and stuff. We enjoy playing and making a joyful noise to the Lord.
Herman says she loves sharing her joy with the fans, and she can't imagine her life any other way. In Chapel Hill, I'm Amy Whitaker, Carolina Week.
You can catch the Found Outsides' next performance November 3rd. That's next Thursday at the Poorhouse in Raleigh.
You know, I've been to the Poorhouse, so it's a pretty cool place, so I'm sure it'll be a great performance out there.
A good venue for bluegrass, I'm sure. Maybe we should get someone out there and check it out, right?
Yeah, a good time for sure. So, you know, they have a lot of bands out there all the time, and there's always something fun going on, so great food and fun.
That does it for this edition of Carolina Week.
Thanks for watching. Good night.